What is up, football fiends? We are on draft week, and what better to do than give a comprehensive recap and lore of the first two Get in the League seasons? I'm Ian, current commissioner, and I'm with Cole.
What up? Yeah, just some guy. Uh, yeah, ready to go. Let's get it
More
started.
than some guy, pillar, honestly. But okay, this the league started during the COVID year 2020. It was super last minute. It was created by Cascat, Casey, whatever you want to call him. And yeah, it was like 2 days before the season started. Someone's idea. We were like, yeah, sure, why not? Boom, we're in. Everybody paid like $10. There was not that much at stake. Um, it was a it was a crazy season because of COVID, and there was no preseason, so there were a ton of injuries. We talk about Dackless for sure. Um,
Yep, that was the year I drafted Mr. Dak on his way to pretty solid QB1 season maybe, putting up 40 bombs left and right and snapped his leg.
week
I
four, I
remember I
think.
remember pretty vividly. I think I was doing homework or something during the game and I was going hard in the back room, not even watching, and I just heard all my friends in the front room audible gasp and ran out there because I knew something had happened. I sat there and I watched Dak lift his leg up while it dangled
Golf
and
club.
rebranded to fucking Dakless because that pretty much was the nail in my coffin. Dak was kind of hard carrying me. So tough
Yep.
year. That's all I remember though.
So, because ESPN didn't like archive the season or whatever the hell, like it's kind of a blur to us at this point. But here's what I got to tell you. Maddie, one of my friends, is in the league. He drafted Todd Gurley in the first round. I believe he was on a road trip, and he was currently like in Wyoming. As he had like bad connection, and he said he panicked and drafted Todd Gurley. That was hilarious. We all laughed at him. If he auto picked, it would have gave him a better player. That basically sealed his fate for the season. And he drafted like three tight ends, so all within like the first 8 rounds. I don't know what he was doing. Then we had Will and Harley, who like dominated. Will had 11 wins, I believe. Harley had 10. This was a 13 game regular season because they hadn't added the extra week yet. Um, we just talked about Dackless. That sealed Cole's fate. I had first pick. It was also my first time ever playing fantasy. So I had Christian McCaffrey. Ended up playing, I think, 3 games the whole year due to injuries. Picked up James Robinson, the Jaguars beast, and Travis Kelsey. They carried me to a victory with like a 8-5 record. But our format was shit. We only had 4 playoff teams. It was double week matchups. So if you don't know, like normally you just play 1 week and there's a winner, but there's like 2 legs. So you had like 1 week and then another week. Whoever had the most combined points at the end of those 2 weeks wins. It's bad. We played into week 17, which is also bad because people are resting their starters and stuff. Yeah, it was basically our fantasy season like coincided with the COVID year. It was a mess, but I did win it, and I bought a fantasy ring, championship ring with the winnings, and a James Robinson jersey, and then the rest of the standings. So the standings, real quick, it went. I won. Will was second. Harley was third. Mangan, who was one of Nitro's Philly friends, was fourth. Nitro was fifth. Cole was sixth. Casey was seventh. Wooski, another Philly friend of Nitro's, was eighth. Maddie ninth. Habib 10th. And this was before we put in like a punishment for last and everything. Oh, this is kind of impromptu, but try to say something. I'm gonna get the ring and the James Robinson jersey.
Oh, me say something? Uh, okay. I'm Cole. I'm gonna be your sideline analytic guy. I'm gonna be getting interviews with the boys all season long. Pre-draft. Oh, here we go. James Robinson jersey,
My
nice.
hero, I think he was like RB4 that year. And then you got a little,
Oh
I don't
my
know.
God, I don't think I've ever even seen that thing.
It's in the box right now, but yeah, that's what I spent the money on.
Man, you're gonna have to send that thing to me this year. Sorry.
Ah, you gotta get your own. All right. So, anything to add, or should we bump into next year?
No, I'm ready for next year and player intros.
All right. So, 2021, just last year, that's when it got real. We fixed the format. I took over as commissioner because, Casey's around, but I I can like be more active with the settings and like coordinating everything than he can. So we fixed the format. We had roster changes, so we dropped Mangan and Wooski because they're kind of random last minute additions. We added Zach Mazer, aka Rowe. Most of us are friends with. He's Cole's childhood friend, still friend. Go
Yep.
ahead. And then Harley's coworker, David's. And yeah, this season we wanted to make the Todd Gurley Award a thing, like the worst first round pick, but everyone just did like a way better job in the draft, so that award can't really exist. And yeah, this season basically, so they added the extra week in the real NFL season, so now it's a 14 game regular season. Um, we did 6 playoff teams. The top 2 got a bye, and we didn't do week 18 because teams rest their starters. They're like already in the playoffs. So, a popular theme of the year was the David's Curse because he started 5-0, I believe, and he had like the lowest points scored, whatever you want to say, in the entire league, like the whole season. He was putting up trash numbers, but for the first 5 weeks, if you played him, your team would put up worse numbers. So somebody coined the David's curse, and it stuck.
It should
Uh,
be mentioned too that Davids won't be playing this year.
yeah,
He's getting replaced by Pagoy, but he'll live on our memories as a solid contributor to season 2 with
yep.
his dog shit team and his crazy curse.
We needed a 10th, and he filled that role.
He did.
Um, but yeah, so for season 2, the winner was Harley, who we'll talk a bit about. He's, I think, had the best combined record through the first 2 years for sure. I believe he went 12-2 this past year, and I mean, team was stacked. Had like Devonte Adams, Cooper Cup, Herbert, Brady. I don't know, you name it. He was so hard to beat. Eckler. Um, Harley is friends with a lot of us. We've known him a long time. Um,
Arizonian, but we'll forgive him.
yeah. Um,
I'm just kidding.
and Matt Stafford was racist and only threw to Cooper Cup, so that's why he won.
Yeah. I played him
Uh,
in the finals, got whomped. Pretty uncompetitive finals.
yep. So
Nice.
there you have it. Cole was second. B-52 Rock Lobs. Bills, basically the Buffalo Bills with some Ezekiel Elliott and whatnot mixed in.
Yeah, yeah. Little Daryl Henderson, a little David Montgomery injury action. Uh Constantly revolving door at wide receiver 3. Uh yeah, pretty much manufacturing wins any way we could. I have the lucky privilege of getting to speak on my own behalf, but I would have called myself a manufacturer last year.
Yep. Needless to say, he won't be taking Zeke again.
No,
Not
no,
impressed.
no, I won't.
Um,
I'll be taking Austin Eckler instead.
so then here was the real surprise. We had Maddie go from ninth in the first year to third last year. He just had some. I mean, he was basically the Derrick Henry team. Through 8 weeks, Derrick Henry was piggybacking him like a maniac. And then, if I assume if you watch us, you watch football. Derrick Henry broke his foot, missed like the second half of the year. Matty started dropping a lot of games, um, and he ended up like 7-7, and then he ended third. And Matty is one of my friends who he's
Is
an
a
odd
top bloke.
he's an
He's a
odd
top
fellow.
bloke.
He's
A
hilarious.
good memer.
Yeah.
Often contributing in the group chat with some good memes. I'm sure we'll share some with you guys this season, but top bloke and a good memer, and he'll never live down drafting Todd Gurley ever. So
Yeah,
don't ever let him forget that he did that.
I wouldn't say he's the biggest football expert, but he definitely showed his chops last year. He showed what he can do if he drafts properly. Um, and then fourth, we had Davids, who I mentioned earlier started 5-0. Then I think he ended 7-7 or something like that. He lost a ton of games because, like we said, his team wasn't actually good. But I think he won like a pivotal matchup in the last week to make it in the playoffs. He would end up being fourth. We had Nitro fifth, and Nitro is another person we've known for like 10 years. He's a Philly boy. He's a Fly Eagles Fly boy. He's a longtime fantasy player, I believe. A real fantasy football, pro football focus expert. A DraftKings fantasy. Yeah.
Two RBs in the first two rounds. That's what I've noticed out of Nitro. We'll see if it's going to happen again, but I would expect two RBs first two rounds out of Mr. Nitro this season. If I don't see it, I'm going to be shocked. I'm calling you out, Nitro. Pick a fucking
By the
receiver, guy.
book.
Anyway,
he plays in like hella leagues, and my assessment of him is he drafts the weird players. He drafts the players from like the teams where I'm like, what the fuck, like he's like a Aaron Jones and T.J. Hawkinson and like fucking Indianapolis Colts drafter. I always look at his team and I'm like, what the fuck? It's never that flashy. Who do we have six? We had Habib. Okay, so yeah, this was big. Habib went from last to a playoff appearance. He had a pretty good team. His season, unfortunately, unraveled when he played Davids in the first round, I believe. And he felt that curse one more time. Habib, another person we've known for a very long time. A lot of our friends. He is the slayer of Will. Even though Will has had a good year and stuff, he has never beaten Habib. Habib is a Vikings fan, Wisconsin, Minnesota border. He's a Justin Jefferson truther. He loves that man with all his heart.
Yes,
and yeah,
he does.
His mind for football is becoming pretty sharp. So,
it's evolving.
Stay on the lookout for
right before our eyes.
Habib Al-Jahar.
Habib's a threat.
For real. Especially to Will.
Especially to Will.
Then we have Zach Baser, who ended 7th, just missing the playoffs. Like I said, you do his intro.
I can do this. Yeah, he's a Coast Guard again. Member of the Coast Guard. Thank you for your service. Basically, measure of fish, stopper of Cubans, and king of borderline racist names. Likes the Patriots. Disowned by his Dallas brethren in the football season because of that.
100%.
Mac Jones truther. and overall a pretty cringe guy, but we love him. And no, I'm just fucking around. No, I love Zach. Great to have him part of the league, but he's got to show us something. Last year, he didn't, go all out. Didn't get to perform great, and we'll see what happens. But I'm pulling for him this year. We'll see how he does in the draft.
He has some football competency for sure. He's like
Definitely,
a Najee
definitely.
Harris and like Debo Samuel on his team, but I don't know. He just lost too many games. Well, I can
Yep.
get into actually how close it was, but let's just finish out the players real quick. I went eighth. It was not one of my finest moments. I started the season like 1-5, and I started the first year I won 1-4. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I can win more than one game in the first half of the season, that would be great. But yeah,
Yeah.
my team just wasn't that. I mean, basically, I drafted Robert Woods instead of Cooper Cup, so I guess that sealed my fate. I had like Kelsey again and some other shit, but my team wasn't that good. I had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Don't touch that guy with a 10-foot pole.
Yep. Yep. You are a
He,
drafter of Clyde. You're
I,
you're
I
the
never
king
will
of
be again.
rebrands. Always be on the lookout for a good Ian name rebrand. Likes to name with the team, with the players he's got rocking.
Yep.
Currently going with huge for the Puge. Um, let's see, how can I slander you? Oh, Sam Darnold. Has been a Sam Darnold. No one will know this except for me. Sam Darnold truther since he was at USC. Yikes. Okay, let's keep going.
I'll say it with pride. How
Oh,
are they
dude.
gonna give Baker the job in his breakout year? Okay. Anyways, um, rounding it out, we have Casey in ninth, who hasn't made playoffs in either of the first 2 years. Not a good look. He drafted Saquon again, I think, in the first round. And
Yes, he did.
uh, if you know ball, the Giants were not a real team last year, or
Also
for many
had like
seasons.
5 wide receiver ones
Oh
and
yeah, no running backs.
absolutely hoarded those hoes hard. No running back trade was enough. That's just me speaking personally. I maybe heard down the grapevine from some other people that was happening with them too. But yeah, I'd label him a hoarder of receivers. Let's see if he does it again.
Oh yeah, I should just add real quick. During this season, there was not a single trade. Not a single trade went through. So
Not one.
that can give you an
Not one.
idea of the league.
Yep.
Um,
It's
and
tough to
then
convince the boys of a trade. That's for sure.
and then rounding it out, we have uh, Will, who went from
Ooh.
second to 10th. He had one of the. Okay, well, Will is also. He's a friend of me and Maddie's. We know him in real life, and he drives buses like a beast. He knows ball. He is definitely one of the more fluent ball aficionados in the league. uh, but yeah, he just got super unlucky. He had first pick. He went McCaffrey. I think he played like 9 games, so at least he got 9 games out of McCaffrey. I did
Will
not.
must have taken a piss on like a native burial site before drafting because he was absolutely cursed last year. That was an anomaly of a season. The
Hmm.
draft looked good on paper. It just anything that
Think
could have gone wrong went
things
wrong.
happen. Yeah, I mean to give you an
And
idea, he had
it was raps.
Russell Wilson, who got injured, didn't play a very good year. Calvin Ridley quit football, who he also had, and now is suspended. Um, yeah, no, I mean I don't know all his players, but everywhere you looked, like he was getting screwed.
He
Um,
was.
so yeah, that gives you more of an idea on our league. Oh yeah, and I'll tell you real quick. So you know, even though I just went through like where everyone finished, the last week there were like 6 or 7 teams that had 7 wins or 6 wins, and like a playoff spot was totally in reach. And That's just the way it goes. Some people made it, some people didn't. I think if I won either of my last two games, I make the playoffs. But ended up eighth. Like, it is what it is. I didn't win. Um, so yeah,
Did we mention Pagoy?
it was so competitive. Yeah, we'll get to that right now, because now we are in present time. The draft is on Friday for us. I will be recording the whole thing. We'll get as many of our 10 people in the Discord call as possible. But yeah, there's one more roster change. David's out this year, and now we have Pagoy, another guy who's our friend we've known for a very long time. He doesn't know ball. We have no idea what to expect from him, and he has the first pick. If you watched the previous video where I revealed it all, he doesn't know ball, and he has the first pick. Or at least we think he doesn't know ball. He could surprise us, but until he does,
he's untested and unproven at this point. He's got a blank slate to write his own story this season, to see what we'll say about him in next year's video.
Yep.
Will it be positive or will it be negative? It's all up to him.
And I just have to add real quick that he's a cringe LA Rams fan. Feel free to leave comments saying fuck the Rams, because as you can see, I am a Rams hater through and through. So, and Matt Stafford's racist, and Cooper Kupp is a fraud.
Talk that talk.
But yeah, I mean, everyone's hyped. We're about to have a great year. This is hopefully our roster for like until we die. So
yeah. I'd like to plug 2 upcoming videos. We've got hopefully some pre-draft interviews at some point this week. We'll see how many I can collect. If you don't see it up, it's because everyone was cringe and they didn't want to do it with me. So hate on them for that. And then also I'm going to be doing little pre-draft rankings for everybody from my personal brain. And yeah, we'll see how you guys enjoy that. I think you won't. You'll be surprised at what you see.
The real NFL players?
Yeah.
Oh, hell
yeah. I'm gonna show off my. I'm gonna show off my board a little bit. It'll come out after the draft, of course. I can't be releasing that information, but I think it should be humorous.
It's draft week. Gotta be somewhat confidential. All right. Well, that's it, baby. That's all from me. The draft is on Friday.
Signing off. See you later.
Look out for that. All right. See you guys Friday or whenever that video comes out. Bye.
This is